Yes, boys, welcome back to another Betting MMA podcast. Basically, in this show, we go through the entire fight card, breaking these fights down from a betting perspective, giving my best bet for each fight or best bets for each fight, and how to attack them from a betting perspective, looking at the value lines, looking at how we can make some money this Saturday at UFC 300. Absolute banger pay-per-view card, ladies and gentlemen. The most stacked pay-per-view of all time. I think there's like 12 champions on this card, former champions, so really looking forward to this card, boys. But before we do that, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and comment if you disagree or agree, or leave some of your best bets down in the comments below, boys. And yeah, really appreciate all the love that you guys have been showing me this week with the max bet video, with the the full card breakdown video, and my reads have gotten better as the week has gone on. You know, I consume content from other creators, and I also do more tape as the week goes on, so I can, feel confident going into each and every UFC event, boys. But yeah, let's get right into the betting podcast, breaking these fights down from a betting perspective, boys. So our first fight off the night is going to be Deiveson Figueiredo taking on Cody No Love Garbrandt, or No Chin at this point in his career. I mean, this guy's getting cracked on the chin and getting dropped in basically most of his fights that he's fighting, a high-level fighter, and he's coming up against Deiveson Figueiredo, a former, world champion. Both these men former world champions, but Deiveson Figueiredo, a former 125 champion, Cody Garbrandt on the other hand, a 135 champ. But let me break this fight down. I think Deiveson Figueiredo, I think that there's no value on him in this fight, man. I think from a betting perspective, what is he now? I think he's minus 350, 310. Okay, 310. Still, I don't think there's any value. I would personally line this like minus 200 for Figueiredo, and plus 170, maybe 160 for Cody Garbrandt. That's how I cap this fight. I think that Deiveson has the power edge. Well, I don't know if he has the power edge in this fight, but it's more on the chin and decision making of Cody Garbrandt. If Cody Garbrandt fights the fight that he has to fight, he will win this fight, in my opinion. If he wrestles, implements wrestling. I'm not saying D1 wrestle himself to a victory here, but I'm saying wrestle, make Deiveson think about it as the fight goes on. Sit on the outside, pick his shots very well. Touch. And then maybe shoot a takedown with a minute or a minute and a half left, secure the round. That's what I'm kind of saying about Cody Garbrandt. But he is a hard guy to trust, man. When this guy, this guy, you can just tell when he's like, fuck this, I'm throwing this right hand, and that's where he gets caught, man. Obviously his chin isn't the best, but it's more on his decision making where he gets caught. And a guy against a guy like Deiveson Figueiredo, who has big power in those hands, even at 135, it is a bit of a risk. But I do think that Cody Garbrandt is going to be the faster striker. He's going to be the bigger fighter, and I think he has multiple paths to victory in this matchup. Like I said, by implementing wrestling, I'm not saying he's going to control the entire fight, but Deiveson Figueiredo is a guy that will be taken down. He pulls guillotines, and I don't really see him subbing Cody Garbrandt, man. I think Cody Garbrandt has, decent wrestling, puts his head in good spots in the wrestling exchanges, and he times his takedowns very well, as seen in the Dominic Cruz fight. I'm not trying to go back 7 years here, but just an example, I highly doubt his takedowns are going to be washed, but you know what I mean? I feel like Cody Garbrandt has, very good timing on his takedowns, very fast, very fluid with his footwork on the outside. I think that could cause many problems for Deiveson Figueiredo, but my official pick is going to be Deiveson Figueiredo by probably second round knockout, but I'm not really that confident in it, man. I think that, like I said, if Cody Garbrandt fights, the smart fight here, I think he can win this fight all day. And yeah, gonna go with Cody Garbrandt as the official bet, and I do have a play on him. I don't really give out my plays until Friday for you guys, but yeah, I do have a play on Cody Garbrandt at, plus 250. All the value is on him all day. And if you guys don't know my betting strategy, it's basically betting on value, not always the guy that will win. For example, Dustin Poirier, who else was it? Lucas Brzezinski last week, plus 300. I had to, take that against, Valter Walker. So yeah, that's just my betting strategy if you guys didn't know. And it's been very successful for us. 57 units this year already, 107 overall. So yeah, we're absolutely killing the books. Our next fight is going to be Bobby Green taking on Jim Miller. This fight's very easy to break down, man. You know, Bobby Green is going to have the faster strike. He's going to have the, you know, the better striking on the outside, the 1-2s on the pipe, the, you know, a lot of his, like, straight shots come from the hip. And I think he's going to be the better striker on the feet. Jim Miller, it doesn't have the best head movement, doesn't have the best defense, and his cardio isn't the best. You know, he does slow down as the fight goes on, especially at 40 years of age. But, you know, Jim Miller's been looking really good recently, man. 4-1 in his last 5, but he did lose. It's just like losing to Alexander Hernandez, man. It's just not a good look in my opinion. And I feel like, you know, if you're losing to Alexander Hernandez, I feel like Bobby Green can put it on you, even at, you know, there is like a worry in my mind, like, oh yeah, Bobby Green just got knocked out cold by Jalin Turner. I mean, he got knocked out like 7 times in that one exchange on the ground, so there is a bit of a worry that, you know, Bobby Green's chin is gone, and Jim Miller actually hits pretty hard, you know, starched, what's his name? I think it was, Jesse Butler, you know, starched him out cold, you know, cracked a lot of guys' chins in the past as well, and if Bobby Green's chin isn't fully recovered coming to this matchup, I could see that being a big factor. And I also think that Jim Miller's leg kicks in this fight could play a big factor as well. I think that the odds are a bit wide. I'd probably bet Jim Miller if I had to place a bet, but overall, I don't really want to have any action on this fight from a betting perspective, ladies and gentlemen. I think that the over 2.5 at minus 146 is okay. It's not great. It's okay. It's hard to trust, you know, Bobby Green with that chin issue. I think all the finishing upside probably is on the Jim Miller side with the submission ability, but, you know, Bobby Green's never been submitted in his entire career, so he's a very hard guy to take down and submit. Even, you know, Islam Makhachev had to ground and pound him out, and we knew that Islam Makhachev is more of a grappling, you know, submission over, you know, ground and pound guy, so very hard guy to submit, Bobby Green. But I just feel like he'll have the sniper, you know, the sniping type of advantage on the outside with his, you know, straight shots down the pipe, the jabs, the right hands. I think they'll be landing all day. And as this fight goes on, I do think he will, you know, pick up the pace on Jim Miller, and Jim Miller won't really be able to have much success as the fight goes on. But I do think, actually, for you guys out there, I think there's a good live betting spot on Bobby Green, to be honest. You know, like I said, Jim Miller does slow down, and Bobby Green's output as the fight goes on usually gets better. He has a very high pace over the 3 rounds, and I do think a good live betting spot is going to be Bobby Green. You know, if you can get him like a pick him and the round 1, maybe, you know, plus money, I doubt that, but, you know, a pick him and the round 1, I think that could be a good little live betting spot for you guys. But yeah, gonna go with Bobby Green by decision in this matchup. Our next fight is going to be Marina Rodriguez taking on Jéssica Andrade. Very interesting fight here. You know, this is kind of an underrated fight. I mean, this fight card is just absolutely stacked, but this fight is actually going to be a pretty fun fight. You know, Jéssica Andrade, you know, women's MMA is boring. We all know that. I'm not hating, I'm just being honest. Like, I just, I can't, man. Don't want to get cancelled on my podcast, but you know what I mean. You know, Jéssica Andrade, you know, she's very fun to watch. Both of these girls very fun to watch on the feet. Jéssica Andrade, big power in her hands, a lot of strength at the 115-pound division, and I think that could be a big factor in this matchup. You know, Jéssica Andrade closing the distance, potentially looking for takedowns, looking for slams against Marina Rodriguez, who doesn't really look that strong in, you know, the wrestling in terms of strength and just overall ability to defend takedowns. She isn't really the best at, you know, defending takedowns whatsoever, and I think that Jéssica Andrade, if she is able to close the distance, I think she will have success in that area, but I can't really rely on Jéssica Andrade to come out here and D1 wrestle for 15 minutes, man. You know, Jéssica Andrade, very, very open on the feet, man. I think her technical ability on the feet is very, very flawed. I think that's the word I'm looking for, but yeah, I think it's not great, man. The way she, you know, runs forward, swings, hooks, not much technique whatsoever. She's coming up against a gal who has very, very good, you know, striking in her, just overall, very good Muay Thai on the feet, good kicks, very long range attacks with her jabs, with her straight punches, and in the clinch, man, she has nasty knees, as we've seen against, who was it? Michelle Waterson in her last fight. You know, nasty knees in the clinch, nasty elbows, cut Michelle Waterson open really bad, and I think that she can have a lot of success in this matchup, man. I think that on the outside, she can catch Jéssica Andrade, you know, coming in, and just be the overall better fighter with the more diverse strikes, with the better technique, and just the overall better, just striking. So yeah, I think that Marina Rodriguez is going to be the betting side as well, man, at plus money. I don't know if I'll play her, man. I'm really tempted. I probably will get to the window on her by fight time, I'd say. Just stay tuned for that, by the way. I will have all my moneyline bets posted for Friday's video. Where is it? Plus 115. I do think there's a bit of value there. I'm really trying to, wait this one out, man. I'm trying to get every ounce of value I can possibly get out of this fight because, there's better fights on the card, in my opinion, to attack. But, if I'm getting plus 120, plus 130, like I was saying in my group chat to people, I may have to take the shot. I may have to take the shot on Marina Rodriguez at that kind of value. So, stay tuned. I don't know if I'll have a bet, but yeah, I think I may play. Not really much value in the over, not really much value in the under, in my opinion. I think that's kind of lined appropriately. So yeah, I'm just looking at playing Marina Rodriguez in this matchup. On to our next fight, we have where is it? Jalin Turner taking on Renato Moicano. Very interesting fight in the lightweight division. Jalin Turner, man, this guy is absolutely, this guy is absolutely huge for the 155 division. So long in the weight class, insane reach, insane leg reach on guys. I love the way he actually uses his reach, though, with the teep kick to the body, and I think that's going to be a massive factor. I think he could end up finishing Renato Moicano to the body with those long-range body kicks, with those long-range, teep kicks. Those teep kicks that he throws up the middle are absolutely nasty, and I think he can tie Renato Moicano, putting on the pressure and, kind of like intercept him with that body kick. But yeah, Jalin Turner, very, very, big par for that weight class. A lot of finishing ability with the submissions, like we shown against Brad Riddell. I don't think that's going to come into play against a guy with the, the jiu-jitsu off Renato Moicano. I don't really see him, pulling guillotine him, submitting a guy with the black belt prowess off, Renato Moicano on the ground. I just don't see that being a likely outcome. You kind of see that nowadays. Guys are getting way better. Getting under the guillotine, able to step over their legs, able to flip themselves over and stuff. The guillotine isn't as amazing as what it once was, but the ninja choke is getting massive, as we've seen against the clinch, when guys are shooting sloppy takedowns, guys are snatching up people's necks with a ninja choke. But that's I just went a bit sideways with that. But yeah, I'm gonna pick Jalin Turner in this matchup, man. I think that Jalin Turner can intercept Renato Moicano's forward pressure. I think it's gonna be very difficult for Renato Moicano to get on the inside, and I think he's a bit of a liability with his durability and his striking as well. I think he's very open on the feet. I don't like his striking. He does have a dog in him, but you can break him, as, Jose Aldo showed, to the body. And I think the shot selection of Jalin Turner is going to play a massive role in this matchup. I think that, the kicks to the legs, the kicks to the body, the kicks to the head, the overall boxing ability, the long range attacks, I think they're just going to be too much for Renato Moicano to enter on. And I do see Jalin Turner finding a pretty early finish in this matchup. And Renato Moicano's taking this fight on very, short notice here. I know he had a training camp for Drew Dober, but he's getting back in there, and if it wasn't for Drew Dober making a few mistakes in that matchup, I had like 3 months rent on Drew Dober live. I think I bet him plus 200, plus 150, plus 170. It looked like Drew Dober was about to win easily, and then gets taken down. I forgot how he got taken down, but yeah. Pretty bad fight IQ by Drew Dober there, but I'm going to go with Jalin Turner to, land the better shots on the feet and eventually, hurt Renato Moicano to the body, in my opinion. Our next one is Sodiq Yusuff taking on Diego Lopes. Oh my gosh. Absolutely just parched, man. I'm trying to get better at, I don't even know, making my mouth more wet so I don't have to take drinks and stuff for these podcasts, because it is hard speaking for so long. Your mouth just dries up naturally. But yeah, Sodiq Yusuff taking on Diego Lopes. I'm surprised at these odds, man, and I am not a high guy. I'm not high on Diego Lopes, man. I think he's a bit of a, I don't know about a fraud per se, but he is extremely overrated. He is extremely overrated, man. But I'll get into that in a second. Sodiq Yusuff, man, this guy is very good on the feet, very technical, is able to fight on the inside and the outside, and I had a huge bet on Sodiq Yusuff on the moneyline side against, Edson Barboza there. Very unlucky there, If you guys didn't hear my breakdown video early in the week, I was like one of the first guys to, realize that during the fight because I had a shitload of money on Sodiq Yusuff. I actually asked him, the way fighters, will react to their loss or win on Twitter. I put in the comments, did you tear your shoulder or did you hurt your arm? And yeah, he said the broadcast didn't bring it up, and I was so certain when watching that fight why he wasn't using one of his arms. But yeah, he couldn't use one of his arms from round 1 onwards, and that was just unfortunate, man, because if he's able to use both arms, he probably finishes Edson Barboza in that matchup. But yeah, very good on the feet, man. He's very good in the inside with his tight hooks. Very, very fast. And he's got sneaky power in his hands. I wouldn't say it's, groundbreaking power for the featherweight division, like an Ilia Pereira type power or anything. But he does have very good power, very underrated power. And if you leave any openings for him on the feet, he will take them, and, he will, hurt you like he did against Edson Barboza in his last fight. And he also has very, solid takedown defense, good wrestling, offensive wrestling. I wouldn't say it's amazing wrestling, but he does, implement it in some of his fights, and, solid jiu-jitsu as shown against, Don Shainis. Don Shainis is absolutely terrible, but yeah. Diego Lopes, on the other hand, we know what we're getting with this guy. Absolute wild man on the feet. Wild jiu-jitsu off his back. Insane scrambles as shown against Mozravlova. But I do see a lot of openings on the feet against him. And I think on the ground, man, if he fights guys that, are very good at with submission defense, as shown against Joe Anderson Brito. If you guys haven't watched that fight, Joe Anderson Brito, he's also in the UFC, a guy that has absolutely insane power. He was able to take Diego Lopes down and basically just ride out a decision win. Able to defend off some of the knee bars that Diego Lopes was throwing up. Able to defend off a lot of the submissions from Diego Lopes. He was on bottom for most of the fight. So I do think there's a bit of... I'm not really high, man. I'm not jumping on this hype train that most of the MMA fan base is jumping on here. I do see a lot of openings on the feet. He's too wild on the feet, man. He's very open on the feet, but I think I am gonna have to pick him in this matchup. I've just criticized this guy for the entire breakdown, but I don't think Sodiq Yusuff is dangerous enough to, stop a guy in Diego Lopes. And Diego Lopes, man, he has all the momentum coming to this fight. His confidence is going to be at an all-time high. That, Lugo gym in, Mexico is on fire right now, putting out some really good fighters like Alessandro Costa, Lupe Godinez. I know Lupe Godinez just won, but, she's been improving massively since, moving to that gym. Diego Lopes, obviously. I think there's, Alexa Grasso. So, that gym's on fire right now, putting out some really good prospects in, divisions, but... there are many openings for Diego Lopes. I'm surprised, a lot of casuals haven't bet, Diego Lopes up, but I'm sure, a lot of sharps are going to be, bringing that more respected value to the Sodiq Yusuff side, so that's keeping it more close than probably what the, money is saying on Diego Lopes, but yeah. I'm going to pick Diego Lopes on the feet. I think he will be able to find that shot. Sodiq Yusuff does have pretty, has a suspect chin, man. He does have a suspect chin. He's been cracked in multiple fights, cracked against Edson Barboza. I think he was hurt against Arnold Allen. He's just been hurt in many fights, and I think that a guy with the momentum, with the forward pressure off Diego Lopes can hurt him and put him away, maybe in the first or second round by TKO. So give me Diego Lopes by TKO in this match. My jaw is like really sore. That's why I had to like crack my jaw there. Our next fight is going to be Holm taking on Kayla Harrison. Very easy fight to break down here. I think that if it's on the feet, I think Holm wins. But if it's on the ground in the clinch, which Holm likes, in her like last few years of fighting, Kayla Harrison is going to absolutely easily win this fight, man. But I'm not high on Kayla Harrison, man. Aspen Ladd performance, the Pacheco performance, and I'm not really high on her skills, man, especially on the feet. She's very stiff on the feet, very plodding forward, not the best footwork, and I don't really think that she's that good, I'll be honest. I mean, she's good, obviously, 16-1 record, undefeated for how many years there, but if Nunes fought her, she would punch a hole through her, so I don't think that, the 135 division absolutely sucks, man, so you don't really have to be world class, as shown. Raquel Pennington's world champion, so yeah, but Holm, man, she's going to transcend the outside in this matchup, utilize her lateral movement, in my opinion, like she kind of did against Ronda Rousey. I think that would be like a good strategy, but she is going to be past her prime here. She won't have the speed that she once had, she won't have the cardio that she once had, she won't have the athleticism that she once had, and I do see Kayla Harrison being able to close the distance, use her judo, 2-time gold medalist in the Olympics, so very high level judo in the clinch, very good throws, good single legs, just a good variety of takedowns, and that's something you don't really see in women's MMA. So I do think that she probably will be a champion in the 135-pound division, because 135 absolutely sucks. But yeah, gonna go with Kayla Harrison. Wouldn't be laying -480. I think value is gonna be on like Kayla Harrison round 3 or decision. I think that would be a good spot to look at. But something I'm not really looking to play, man. -155. Yeah, I'm not touching this fight, man. I can't. I'd probably just go for a piss break, I'll be honest, guys. Our next fight is going to be Calvin Kattar taking on Aljamain Sterling. Calvin Kattar, man, very good boxing, fights at the New England Cartel, right? Yeah, New England Cartel. Good 1-2s, one of the best jabs in that division, one of the best boxers in that division, and just overall very good at striking, good leg kicks as well, but he doesn't really kick that much. Good elbows, time elbows, as shown against Jeremy Stephens. How long ago was that fight? Damn, that fight was like over 4 years ago, that's crazy. But yeah, very good elbows, also in that Giga Shikadze win, absolutely destroyed Giga Shikadze with elbows, and solid takedown defense, but he hasn't fought a guy that with the wrestling and with the grappling of Aljamain Sterling, man. I think Aljamain Sterling can win this fight in many ways, man, and you guys are going to say, you're crazy, he only has one way to win this fight. I don't think so, man. I think on the feet he can win this fight. I really do. I really do believe he can win this fight on the feet, man. I think on the outside he has the more diverse striking. By far, I think he has the better kicks. I think it's that deep kick up the middle. The volume is going to be absolutely just on Aljamain Sterling's side. Was able to outstrike Peter Yan in their first fight. Yes, he got absolutely destroyed, for most of that fight, but he was able to outstrike him, able to outland him. I'm not saying outstrike him in terms of like win in the striking. I'm not saying that. I'm saying just outstrike him. And he was coming up against the best strikers literally in the UFC. Peter Yan, Sean O'Malley, I mean, these guys are like the best strikers in the UFC, so I do see him being able to outstrike Calvin Kattar with the volume, with the more diverse striking, and if, like I said, if he isn't able to get the takedowns here, I think he's going to win the feet, man. But I do see him being able to get the takedowns on Calvin Kattar, who has been out for almost a year and a half, and really hurt his destroyed his knee. So I think that Aljamain Sterling is going to have a lot of success. I really like the money line at -138, which I got him at. Again, I'm giving out a bet on this show, which I usually don't do, but yeah, I love Aljo in this matchup, man. At -130, I think he's able to get the wrestling off. He doesn't even need to get a takedown. He can just get your back and then look for a submission from there. And Calvin Kattar, 36 years of age now. Aljamain Sterling in his prime, moving up in weight class. He's gonna be very motivated. A new life at a new division. And I think even at this weight class, he can push a harder pace than he did before. You know, Aljamain Sterling was a guy that pushed an extremely hard pace for 3 rounds throughout his whole career. Look at the Pedro Munoz fight, man. He put on a really good performance in that fight against Pedro Munoz, and, you know, just completely destroyed him. And that was Pedro Munoz in his prime. That wasn't Pedro Munoz. He's losing to guys like Kyler Phillips or, you know, some of those guys he would have probably beat a few years ago. So yeah, I do like Aljamain Sterling, man, in this matchup to get a submission round, to get the back of Calvin Kattar and latch up a rear naked choke in this matchup. So yeah, like I said, man, I love him on the feet. I don't really think there's much value. I would align this at minus 170, and that's what it is now. That's why, like I said, guys, if you watch my breakdown video, my recap video for UFC Vegas 90, I'm taking into consideration, like, why was I wasn't taking into account value for chalk, for, you know, the minus sign, for favorites. I wasn't taking in any value. I was just like, oh yeah, he wins. I think he wins, so I'll just bet him. But I was taking in value for underdogs, so it doesn't really make any sense what I was doing previously, which was costing us winning nights. It wasn't costing us massively, but it was costing us, you know, winning nights like UFC Vegas 90, losing like 0.1 units. So yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I do think there is value. Well, there was value on Aljamain Sterling at minus 138. Not huge value, but I do like Aljamain Sterling in this matchup to push a pace, to, you know, get him down in this matchup and outstrike him. So I'm pretty confident in the Aljamain Sterling side in this matchup. Our next fight is going to be Jiří Procházka taking on Aleksandar Rakić. This fight's very fun, man. Gonna be an absolute banger, this. Or it could be an absolute snooze fest. This fight could be an absolute snooze fest, ladies and gentlemen. You know, Aleksandar Rakić, man, we know what this guy's gonna do. This guy is... this guy fights very, patiently, picks his shots very well on the outside, circles around, dances around, and wins a decision most of his fights. But... yeah, let's start it off with Jiří Procházka. Jiří Procházka, man, this guy is an absolute wild man. This guy is an absolute wild man. You know, the hair, just everything about him, the way he speaks, you know, samurai type shit, whatever the fuck he's going on about. But yeah, even the way he fights, man, like the weird angles, the weird, you know, the feints, just everything about him is extremely weird. Not very technical in the striking, but it works. He's so unorthodox that it's able to work for him, like a Tony Ferguson in his prime, you know, just very unorthodox strikers, something you don't really see, can't really prepare for, and that's probably why a lot of guys, you know, struggle with him in the cage. And you know, the toughness, the durability as well off Jiří Procházka is very good, you know, got fucking hit by bombs against Glover Teixeira many times in that absolute war. Got KO'd against Dominic Reyes in that matchup. Was able to come back and spinning elbow him. And Alex Pereira landed the left hook, so yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, Jiří Procházka in this matchup, I think that how he's gonna have to win, he's gonna have to put on that pressure, close the distance, and kind of let his hands go. But I don't know if that's gonna work against a guy in Aleksandar Rakić. I think I have a very good read in this matchup, man. I like Aleksandar Rakić in this fight. I really do. I think he's the far superior striker at range. I think he's the far superior striking in the technical ability, with the hands, with the kicks, with the overall ability, in basically every technical term I can use on the feet. And Jiří Procházka will probably put on the pressure, try and close the distance, and I think that Aleksandar Rakić can wrestle offensively to negate that forward pressure off Jiří Procházka in this fight. And that leg kick off Aleksandar Rakić is absolutely nasty. It is nasty. One of the best leg kicks in the UFC, up there with Alex Pereira, and I think that Aleksandar Rakić can invest very early on here with the leg kick and destroy that lead leg off Jiří Procházka, which is very susceptible to those leg kicks. And you're gonna say, Jiří Procházka might have, fixed that leg kicking weakness, but it's only been 5 months ago, man. I don't see him having, I don't see him, tightening up that hole in his game. A lot of his, his main game is that, wide stance, that, lunging stance that he has, And I don't really see how that's... You'd have to change a lot of his game in his stances, a lot of the switching in his stances as well, and I don't think that's going to be long enough for him to, you know, change a lot of that against a guy that doesn't telegraph a lot of his kicks, against a guy that is very good on the outside, very good at timing his shots, and I think that Aleksandar Rakić is the side all day here. I think at minus 117, which I got it at, I think that's value all day, man. I really do believe that minus 117 on the Aleksandar Rakić side. Yes, you're going to say he's coming off that leg injury, which is a, you know, it is, you know, a solid enough point, but it's been 2 years, man. This guy's going to be fully healed up at this stage. I don't see him, you know, coming in here worried about his leg after 2 years, to be honest. But he could be rusty. But even then, if he drops the first round to Jiří Procházka, we see Alex Pereira drop the first round to Jiří Procházka, but he was investing in that leg kick early on, and then he was able to find the finish in the second round against Jiří Procházka. So yeah, I do like Aleksandar Rakić in this matchup to invest in that leg early and find the finish. Yes, I did say finish for Aleksandar Rakić. I think that Jiří Procházka presents many openings on the feet, and I think he will bring the fight to Aleksandar Rakić, and Aleksandar Rakić has no other way of, you know, fighting this fight than fighting back. So yeah, I like Aleksandar Rakić in this matchup. Our next fight is going to be Bo Nickal taking on Cody Brundage. I'm not going to spend too much in this breakdown, ladies and gentlemen. I was looking to play this fight on Ladbrokes. I saw a tweet from a guy, I forgot his name, I think it's Aussie Fan or something on Twitter. Shout out him. But I wasn't able to get this line. It was, I think it was like plus 150. Bo Nickal, 1+ takedown and submission, like a bet builder. And I was like, how is that plus 150? Because I do think that Bo Nickal, if he strikes here, man, I think that he's... I actually think he can like get cracked here. I'm not even joking. I think Bo Nickal is very... I don't think he's good in the feet, man. I don't. If you watch this guy strike, man, he's lunging a lot of his shots. I mean, he's like literally throwing a right hand and lunging forward, leaving openings. I posted a clip on Twitter where he lunges forward with a shot, leave his chin out there, and like Val Woodburn was, you know, tried to counter it, but he missed because he's so short of arms and he's just not that good. But yeah, you know, Cody Brundage, man, I think that if they exchange on the feet, Bo Nickal is liable to getting hit, to being cracked on the chin. We don't know how good this guy is able to take a shot in the chin, but Bo Nickal is going to be the pick in this fight. I think that he has the wrestling here to, you know, get Cody Brundage down, but Cody Brundage has some good wrestling himself, but he was controlled by Cedricus Dumas on the feet, on the mat, so, you know, you could say, oh yeah, he took that fight on short notice, I'm pretty sure, but, you know, getting controlled by Cody Brundage getting controlled by Cedricus Dumas on the ground compared to a guy who's very good on he looks very good, you know, against bums, obviously, at transitioning to submissions on the ground. I think that Bo Nickal will be able to get this fight to the ground, but if he comes out here, you know, tries to show off his striking, man, I think he could get cracked in the chin. I do not like what I'm seeing from his striking. You know, his offense looks, you know, pretty solid, I guess, you know, tight boxing at times, but like I said, man, he does lunge in with strikes, leaves his chin out there, and I think that, you know, if he does that multiple times in this fight, Cody Brundage could potentially have a huge upset in this matchup. I do like Cody Brundage, like round 1 KO at like plus 4,000, which I got it at, so just a stab. It's not like an actual, like, this is gonna happen, obviously. Definitely won't happen, but, you know, I may as well play the plus 4,000. That's kind of the only way Cody Brundage wins in the UFC. Shout out, what was it, his fight against Jacob Malkoun, and shout out Cody Brundage as well. Against who was it? Zach Reese. Yeah, I cashed him as like a plus 200 dog. Zach Reese is terrible. Zach Reese is literally like an auto fade in the UFC, man. He is so terrible at fighting. And you know, Jacob Malkoun, I cashed him as like a plus 25. I can't remember what it was actually. It was a huge, you know, round 1 KO because obviously the disqualification in round 1 for Jacob Malkoun. But yeah, I like Bo Nickal in this matchup. Obviously, he probably will win, get a takedown, get a submission, and eventually fight someone that can actually, you know, that's pretty good. So yeah, gonna go Bo Nickal round 1 submission. My gosh, dude, I'm dying over here. Our next fight is going to be Charles Oliveira taking on Arman Tsarukyan. A very fun fight here, man. Charles Oliveira, this guy is an absolute wild man. You know, a guy that will come forward, put on the pressure, doesn't care what's coming back at him, and, you know, just all violence, you know, foot on the gas from round one, which can be, you know, to his, is a deficit I'm looking for, you know, can be to his disadvantage, I guess. At times, you know, getting cracked against guys like Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Islam Makhachev, but Islam Makhachev wasn't scared to go to the ground, so, you know, he went to the ground and got a submission against, you know, a concussed Charles Oliveira at that stage. But yeah, you know, Charles Oliveira, man, good Muay Thai. This guy in the later half of his career, you know, really put it together with that gym over in Shoot the Box, and really just put it together, man, with his Muay Thai, with his striking, with his jiu-jitsu, you know, solid enough wrestling as well, as shown, you know, against like guys like Tony Ferguson and, you know, Dustin Poirier, you know, to get his back and stuff. So yeah, you know, Charles Oliveira is just very big part in the feet as well. And then on the other hand, we have Arman Tsarukyan. Good wrestling, open on the feet, but I will say, man, as a guy that has backed Arman Tsarukyan in many fights from a betting perspective, man, this guy's fight IQ. I mean, this guy's fight IQ is fucking terrible. Like, it's fucking shit. Like, I'm sorry to use like 2 F-bombs back to back there, but it is fucking terrible, man. Like, as shown, you know, against Matej Gamrot, you know, I kickbox him, schooling him on the feet, and then shoots takedowns, you know, scrambles with Gamrot, giving Gamrot a chance, gassing himself out in many instances. On the feet, he was literally out kickboxing from range, using that left kick to the body. Just out kicking him from range for the entire majority of the stand-up exchanges, and but then he shoots takedowns, wastes a lot of his cardio, just terrible fight IQ. And then against you know, Joaquim Silva, you know, going into those boxing exchanges against a dangerous guy that has hands, you know, I don't like this guy's striking defense. I don't like his boxing. I don't like his decision making in fights. And I think I'm gonna. Should I just switch my pick to Charles? I was gonna pick Arman, man. I think that Arman can potentially look for takedowns, can potentially, you know, crack Charles Oliveira on the feet, and he looks absolutely sauced to the max. I mean, that guy's physique is crazy. I mean, Charles Oliveira is probably sauced as well, but yeah. You know, Arman Tsarukyan could potentially get him against the fence here, wearing him against the fence, look for takedowns. You know, Charles Oliveira doesn't have the best takedown defense, pretty dangerous off his back though. Arman Tsarukyan does look for ground and pound, will posture up, will leave openings for, you know, arm bars, triangles from bottom. And, you know, openings, you know, for Charles Oliveira to get back on the feet. I'm going to go Charles Oliveira. I'm switching my pick on the betting podcast, man. I am going to go with Charles Oliveira, but I don't know if I'm going to bet him, man. I think I would just probably bet him by KO. You know, we have seen Arman Tsarukyan laid out cold, literally laid out cold on the regional scene. Like, the guy got, like, KO'd. I'm not joking, like, out cold, so... You know, he is hittable. He doesn't have the greatest chin in the world. It's pretty okay. It's okay, but he hasn't fought a guy with, you know, the power, with the speed, in my opinion, of Charles Oliveira in the feet. And I think that Charles Oliveira, if he is on the ground, he can survive. But, you know, Arman Tsarukyan's a guy that will pass into, you know, dangerous positions like half guard and then just posture up, or like in full guard, he'll just posture up and land some big elbows from top. But I think that Charles Oliveira, man, he's going to be the better striker by far. I think that Arman Tsarukyan doesn't make the best decisions, and I think that you know, Charles Oliveira will win this fight. You know, I'm picking him, so there is value, you know, plus 180 if I'm picking him, which is value, obviously, but I don't know if I'll bet him, man. I think, like I said, there's better places on the card, in my opinion. What's Charles Oliveira by KO? Where is it? Charles Oliveira plus 850? What? One sec, I have to bet this before this line goes. Yo. So yeah, there you guys have. I just placed that bet plus 800 on Unibet. I mean, I really don't... I think that's the way he wins. I don't see him submitting Arman Tsarukyan, man. I don't see that happening. Maybe it's from bottom, like a triangle off bottom, but I don't really see that happening at a high clip. I think that if Charles Oliveira wins the fight, it's going to be more, you know, getting... landing a big left hook or landing some kind of shot on the feet and then hurting Arman Tsarukyan and then finishing him. And even on a club and sub, I don't really maybe see happening. I could see him, you know, hurting... well, I don't really see him hurting a guy like I don't really see, you know, maybe he like hurts Arman Tsarukyan, and the Arman Tsarukyan you know, panic wrestles like a lot of these guys do from that region. So yeah, I think that could be like and then guillotines him. I think that could happen, but I'm not really, you know, relying on that. So yeah, I think that Charles Oliveira, man, at plus 100 by KO is a very good look in my opinion. But you know, get that plus 185, you know, price tag up to plus 800. I think that's a good price all day. What's the submission? I'm actually interested. Do they favor the sub over the TKO? Wow, they do plus 410. That's interesting to me. I don't know about that, man. I would align that like plus 450, plus 450 for each. Really, I would line that like kind of similar odds, to be honest. I think that Charles Oliveira wins this fight if he wins it by TKO most times, in my opinion. Our next fight is going to be Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. I picked Justin Gaethje during the week, watched more tape, and I'm picking Max Holloway now. I bet Max Holloway again. I'm giving out bets on this show, which I usually don't do. My own personal bets, I mean. I'll leave those for Friday for my best bets video for you guys to watch. But yeah, I love Max Holloway in this fight, man. You know, Justin Gaethje, man, this guy has been looking really good. Way more technical than he has usually looked in his last few fights, but man, I think on the feet, Max Holloway has the style to put it on Justin Gaethje, to outlast him, to outdog him, and to break him in the later rounds, man. I think that Max Holloway, this is how I see Max Holloway winning this matchup, man. I think the body shots that Max Holloway goes for are going to be massive in this matchup, man. Justin Gaethje, if you watch his fights, you know, against Eddie Alvarez ripped to the body, Fiziev ripped to the body, who was it? Dustin Poirier in the first fight ripped to the body. I think Max Holloway, man. I think he's the better striker. I do. I think he's the better shot selection. I think he's the better striker. I think that he can outlast Justin Gaethje. I think he's the better chin. I think he's better defensively, in my opinion. You know, Justin Gaethje, you know, doesn't have the best both of these guys don't have the best defense, but this fight's going to be an absolute banger, man. But I feel like Max Holloway can just outlast him, out cardio him, land those shots to the body, like I said. And Justin Gaethje, man, is so bad at defending high kicks, so bad at defending body kicks, and I could see that being another avenue for Max Blessed Holloway in this matchup, man. If you watch Justin Gaethje, you know, this guy's, like, a kick's coming at him, a high kick's coming at him, he's doing that, covering up, doesn't really, like, he's not, you know, blocking a higher man, you know, what is it, you block it and then slide your arm down the shin or whatever it is, like a high kick, for example. But yeah, he doesn't block you know, kicks well. I think the body is open there, and I think that the cardio edge, his cardio is okay, but I think that Max Holloway is going to put it on him, attack the body as well, and just outlast and outdog Justin Gaethje in this matchup. So I like Max Holloway. I don't know if I'd bet him plus 150. I mean, if you're getting plus 150, I bet it. Plus 141. Yeah, his line's coming down, man. His line is coming down. Plus 157 on Justin Gaethje. You know, these guys on Twitter, these casuals on Twitter were like, Justin Gaethje's gonna destroy him. But look at the odds, man. Like, sharps are realizing what I'm seeing as well. So, yeah, I do like Max Holloway in this matchup, man. I really do, to get like a 4th or 5th round TKO. What's the odds for 4th or 5th round TKO in this matchup for Max Holloway? I did press that, yeah. Holloway wins in round 3 plus 3,000. Jeez. What? They're off. Plus 3,300. What about like TKO? Holloway. Wow. I think they're pretty off, man, honestly. If he finishes, it's not going to be early, man. I don't see Max Holloway, you know, putting out Justin Gaethje early. This guy gets finished as the fights go on, you know, gets Eddie Alvarez 3rd round, as you know, Dustin Poirier, I think, was in the 4th round. So the guy's more susceptible to getting, you know, hurt later in fights and finish later in fights with the, you know, the cardio and just the overall damage that people inflict on him. So I like Max Holloway by KO 4th or 5th round in this matchup, man. Maybe like 3, 4, or 5 mightn't be a bad play. What would that be at? Maybe they don't have this. I don't think they do. Yeah, like 3-4. I don't mind that. Like yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind like later round props for Justin Gaethje. Sorry, for Max Holloway in that fight. Our next fight's gonna be Weili Zhang taking on Xianan Yan. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this is an interesting fight. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't really understand why this is a co-main. This is just gonna, kind of ruin it for the main event. Going into the main event, people will just be absolutely bored of their mind. But plus 375 for Yan. I was saying, I think that Weili Zhang destroys her. I think that she wrestles her. I think that she takes her down and mauls her. Yan was taken down by Durham, was taken down by Esparza, and I think that Weili is more strong, more physical, more physically imposing than both of them, with better takedowns, more explosive on the feet. But as time has went on, man, Xianan Yan. I don't mind a play on her at plus 375. I do. I think that she could be the better striker in this matchup, man. I do. I think that she could be the more technical fighter. I think that on the feet, with her lateral movement, with her footwork, I think on the outside that she could cause many problems for Zhang in this fight, man. I think that Zhang is very open, very hittable on the feet. She can be cracked. I don't see Yan finishing her at a high clip. Yan is more of a decisionator, as we've seen in her her career. Won like, how many is it? 9 decisions, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 9-1 in decisions. So yeah, I don't see that happening at a high clip, but I do think that Yan has a better chance than what the odds suggest at plus 375, and if she gets up to plus 400, man, it may be plus 385. It may be an auto bet for me, man. I may have to auto bet that at plus 385 potentially, man, because like I said, man, if this is on the feet the entire fight, and if Yan is able to defend the takedowns, this fight's going to be very close. It's going to be very interesting. But if Weili is able to get on top, is able to get in dominant positions on the ground, I think that she should, look like a minus 300 favorite, minus 350 favorite. But on the feet, man, the lateral movement, closing the distance for Weili to get those takedowns may be difficult, and she's not like an out-and-out wrestler that's been doing it for her entire career, kind of built upon it since, training with Cejudo, and, just built her game up ever since, training with Cejudo in the wrestling department. So, yeah, I do like Yan at, plus 375. If this is on the feet, man, this fight's going to be very close. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Weili, though, by decision, but if it's on the feet, I do think it's a 50-50 fight, man. I really do. Our next fight's going to be the main event of the evening. If you guys don't know, I have a max bet on this main event, and for those that haven't seen the video, go watch it. Released on my YouTube channel yesterday or 2 days ago. Jamahal Hill is my max bet, man, and I'll explain it once again for you guys. Jamahal Hill's going to be the better striker. I really do believe he'll be the better striker in this matchup. People are going to say, oh, he's a 2-time Glory Kickboxing World Champ, Alex Pereira. He's going to be the better striker here. I don't care. This is MMA, man. This is MMA. This is 4-ounce gloves. And I think that Jamahal Hill is going to be landing that 1-2, that uppercut down the middle on Alex Pereira's chin all day, every single day of the week, man. I really do believe that, in my opinion. I think that Jamahal Hill has the straight shots to hurt a guy like Alex Pereira, who has been susceptible to that 1-2 on the pipe. And that uppercut, man, the uppercut is going to be nasty in this matchup, in my opinion. Yes, Alex Pereira is very tall, but, the way that Jamahal Hill throws it, it's like very... He loads it up, yes, which Alex Pereira, a high-level striker could see, but he really does, like, create a lot of leverage with it, gets it very high up, and I do think that, Alex Pereira is susceptible to those shots. His guard's over here, doesn't really block straight shots to his face, and I think that Jamahal Hill's going to be landing those shots all day. The calf kick is, a bit of a... It is a bit of a worry for me, but if you guys don't know, Jamahal Hill switches southpaw. He switches orthodox. I'm pretty sure he is a southpaw. It's hard to tell, to be honest, if he's a southpaw or orthodox naturally, because the guy switches so much in fights, and I think, if he will be switching in this fight to southpaw. There's no doubt in my mind that he will be fighting from southpaw for a lot of the fight, man, because Alex Pereira, if you watch his fights against southpaw fighters, he doesn't throw many calf kicks. If you guys haven't watched his fights against southpaws, and You know, if he's not throwing calf kicks in this matchup, man, I think that Jamahal is gonna win this fight 7 out of 10 times. I fully believe that he will win this fight 7 or 8 out of 10 times if Alex Pereira doesn't have calf kick success in this matchup. So Jamahal is going to be the pick, man. I really like him in this matchup. I like him by TKO. I like him by the money line. I've loaded up 6.67 units, and I've added a unit onto his KO prop at plus 200, man. I'm really, really confident in Jamahal this weekend. We're 9-0 on max bets. We will make it 10-0 at UFC 300, and, you know, people will shit on this bet, like they did with the Curtis Blades one, like they did with the other ones in the previous max bets that I placed. So it is what it is. Keep shitting on my max bets, keep getting proven wrong. You know, if this loses, it is what it is at the end of the day. 9-1, still an amazing record for max bets. So, you know, still one of the most profitable free betting tips you will probably see in the MMA space. So yeah, guys, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and subscribe if you are new to the channel, and comment if you agree or disagree with some of the bets, and maybe comment some of your best bets down in the comments below, guys. But yeah, guys, I will see you in the next one. Have a good day. Peace.